السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم آمين. Um, Let me just make sure that it's up on the website. I think I finally have access to put the review sessions on the website too. So this should be up there, inshallah. Yes, it is. Good. Okay. Bismillah. I hope everybody is doing well this good morning. I hope everybody had a lot of fun time uh, memorizing the six families, and I hope everybody was able to get through them easily. Um, so inshallah, let's move on to questions. All right, Bismillah. Wa alaikum assalam. Wa alaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah, I am doing good. Okay, questions, guys, questions. There's a mistake in the Sami'a family. Let me take a look. Sami'a. Okay, I see it. Okay, I'll fix that, inshallah. After the review session, I'll fix it, and it should be up before. Well, it's 9:52 right now, my time. So the fix should be up by 11 o'clock. So at the top of the next hour, it should be up, inshallah. Go through the six small families. Okay, I can do that. Read through them very quickly. Let me just open the document and then share that screen, and then I will read through them, inshallah. Okay, here we go. So the six small families. So first of all, nasara yansuru on the pattern of fa'ala yaf'ulu. Nasara yansuru nusratan, or you'll also see nasran, but nusratan is the one that Ustad chose for this. So nusratan fahuwa nasirun, nusira yunsaru nusratan fahuwa mansurun, الأمر منه أنصر والنهي عنه لا تنصر والظرف منه منصر ومنصر ومنصرة. Then on the pattern of فعل يفعل, فتح يفتح فتحا فهو فاتح فتح يفتح فتحا فهو مفتوح الأمر منه افتح والنهي عنه لا تفتح والظرف منه مفتح مفتيح ومفتحة. On the pattern of فعل, I messed this one up as well. فعل يفعل, not يفعل. ضرب يضرب ضربا فهو ضارب ضرب يضرب ضربا فهو مضروب الأمر منه اضرب والنهي عنه لا تضرب والظرف منه مضرب ومضرب ومضربة. On the pattern of فعل يفعل, سمع يسمع سماعة. I'm actually going to change this one to سمعا. Ustad has some recordings that I'm going to put up today, and in the recording he used sam'an, so I'm going to change this one, inshallah. So سمع يسمع سمعا فهو سامع. سمع يسمع سمعا فهو مسموع. الأمر منه اسمع والنهي عنه لا تسمع. والظرف منه مسمع ومسمع ومسمعة. On the pattern of فعل يفعل حسب يحسب حسبانا فهو حاسب. حسب يحسب حسبانا فهو محسوب. الأمر منه احسب والنهي عنه لا تحسب. والظرف منه محسب ومحسب ومحسبة. And finally, on the pattern of فعل يفعل كرم يكرم كرامة فهو كريم. الأمر منه أكرم والنهي عنه لا تكرم. والظرف منه مكرم ومكرم ومكرمة. Why are there three ظرفs? That's just how it is for the small families. Bayna Institute, is there a pattern on ظرف? The pattern? Yeah, the pattern is مفعل and then مفعل and then مفعلة. So we're just plugging all of these roots into those three. So مفعل, منصر, مفتح, مضرب, مسمع, محسب, مكرم, and so on. And then you do the same thing for مفعل, and then the same thing for makramatun. Yes, you need to memorize all three of them. Of course you do. If we give you anything, you need to memorize it. You shouldn't ask, do we need to memorize it? The answer is always yes. How frequently do the small families occur? They occur very frequently. If I open up any ayah, chances are I will find a small family word. Can I give the meanings? The meanings are given on the other PDF. Um, Intensive 3, Day 1. Here, this one. The meanings are given on this one. So family 1 is denoted with the noon. Nasara, to help. And then it's all here. And the other ones are here too. Can I give you examples on process of elimination? I think that's actually what we're covering today. So I'm gonna leave that. Why are the masdars nasab? That's just how we do it when we memorize the chart. It can be rafa' or jar as well, but that's just how we do it in the sarf chart. Do you have to memorize one masdar or more than one? Well, for everything that Ustad gives you, memorize what Ustad gives you. And when it comes to looking up your own words, then we'll cover that when Ustad talks about using dictionaries and stuff. That's when we'll cover that. Will you learn all the masdars? Well, that's like saying, will you learn all the words in the Arabic language, or even all the words in the English language? That's it's a very big task. So it's totally up to you. If you can, you know, if you can take the time to do it, then Bismillah. Go over ism mawsul and their role in idafa. Well, they don't have any particular role in idafa, but they can be used as a mudaf ilayh. Ism mawsul, I can't go over it because we haven't gone over it in class. So I'm not going to cover something that Ustad hasn't covered. All you know so far is what they are. Alladhi, alladhani, alladhina, allati, allatani, allati, and allawati, allai. That's all you know so far. What's the deadline for memorizing Surah Munafiqun? I'm not sure, but try to get it done by the end of this intensive. Yeah, ma and man as well. Those are also in the ism mawsul. Why munafiq doesn't have a passive tense? Because munafiq is not a fi'l. Only fi'ls can be passive. Munafiq is an ism. Nafaqa means, um, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Nafaqa is a fi'l, so nafaqa could have a past tense if it's transitive, but munafiq is an ism, so it cannot be passive. Okay, Najla is saying that Ustad gave you guys 4 to 6 weeks to memorize Surah Munafiqun, so then you have 4 to 6 weeks. Sidra Mumtaz, please go back and do the classes you've missed, and then if you are able to catch up, you can join the live classes. But if you just come to the live classes, you're only going to confuse yourself. So cover what you've missed first. It's not always a wow, Aisha. There are other ones used as well. What are we supposed to do when we memorize Surah Munafiqun? Maximud, I'm not sure what you mean by what are you supposed to do. Memorizing it is what you're supposed to do. And then I guess if you want something else to do after that, you can repeat it every once in a while so you don't forget it. But aside from that, that's we're gonna go over it in class, but you yourself don't have to do anything. Just memorize it. The name Allah is always written as Allah. The only thing that will change is the status. So it'll become Allahu, Allaha, or Allahi. Everything else will remain the same, always. Tuzhat, I didn't see your question both times you asked, so ask a third time. And if I miss it the third time, just ask a fourth time. Because there's a lot of questions, so I can't see all of them all of the time. The haraka on the hamza that looks like a dhamma, it's called, or actually, I'm not sure what it's called, but that haraka is there to tell you that the alif is a hamzatul wasl actually, and that alif will only be pronounced if there's nothing else before it. If there's anything else before it, then we'll skip it. That's what that means. Khadija, it should be on the student resource page. Make sure you refresh the page because you might have an old version of the page. If you refresh the page, it should be there. Um, casks, cat, cask. Interesting name. If karuma means to be honored, how would you say to honor someone? Then that would be a different word. Karuma means to you yourself be honored or be noble, right? So, I mean, just by the meaning, you could tell it's a different word. Akrama could mean you yourself. Akrama could mean to honor somebody else. But karuma means it's happening to you. You are being honored, noble, or you are being honored. اتخذوا is a abnormal fi'l. So let's focus on normal fi'ls first before we get into abnormal fi'l. Crimson Coop, I didn't see your question. So if I skipped it, it was unintentional. You don't understand how to identify the root word from the example Ustad gave you. Is there a specific example that you're talking about? Al-Kashaf? If there is, let me know what that example is and I can help you. But if you're talking about just generally, well, you know actually, you know all 14, right? You know 14 families now. So all you need to do is try to match whatever word you're looking at with one of the words in your 14 families. And from that, you can identify what's part of the family and what's not part of the family. And once you've identified that much, you can derive the root. You're right. I did say an ism can't be passive. Did I contradict myself somewhere? Memuna, you don't have to submit the test. Just keep it to yourself, and then we'll go over it, inshallah. Self-check. Naima, you are correct. So good on you that you're able to figure that out. Can I go to Al-Ma'ani? I'm gonna leave that for Ustad to teach you guys how to cover or how to do. I know he went over it briefly last time, and I think he went over it briefly for a reason. So when he decides to go over it in detail, then that's something that, you know, he can take the time to do, inshallah. How can I have an Arabic keyboard? Go into your computer's keyboard settings and add Arabic. Ozia, I can see your comments. Yes, the passives always have the same pattern. It doesn't matter if it's the 8 big families or the 6 small families. For the past tense, it'll always be as many u's as you need, and then at the end. And then for the present, it'll always be u at the beginning, as many as you need, and then u. The pattern does not change just because we're in the six small families. Fatima, that's because the word you're looking at is not normal, so it's not going to look normal. So don't worry about it right now. Is يعلمون from the Aslama family? No, it's not. It's from علم يعلم, which is the سمع يسمع family. Aisha, will exclusion, there is a way to say that, but we haven't covered it yet. That's a Nahu thing. We'll get to it when we get back to Nahu. Sentence structure, that's more of an advanced thing we haven't learned yet. How do you identify the fa and lam letters in a verb with 3+ letters? Well, you have to match it up with one of the words, with one of the fi'ls in the 8 families. Once you match it up, then you ignore what you know to be part of the family and you pick out the roots that way. So if I'm given the word, for example, uh, let's see. Okay, let's just do an easy one. Istaghfara. If I'm given the word istaghfara, if I'm given the word istaghfara, I know from memorizing this family that for this particular root, ghain, fa, and ra are root letters. The ist is a part of the pot for this family, right? So if I come across a word that's similar to this, right? So let's just do istafza'a, right? So if I come across this root, I can match it up with istaghfara. I can look at this, I can say, okay, this looks to me like istaghfara. And from that, you can take away that fa, za, and hamza would be the root. So that's how you want to go about it. It's just, it's going to take some time getting used to matching it up with a family, and doing all of that. But the more you do it, the easier it'll get for you. You guys can see my screen, right? You can't tell. I wonder why it's showing. Why is it stuck on that? I was typing. Weird. Did you guys see me type out istaghfara and istafza'a too? Because it's stuck. It's stuck for me. Might have to close Word and reopen it then. Give me 1 second. Okay, hopefully that fixes it. Okay, so this is what I was typing. Hopefully you guys can see this now. If I'm given the word istaghfara, and then I come across another word, if I come across the word istafza'a, and I go through the process of elimination, I try to match it up with all of the different families, eventually you'll reach the conclusion that it matches with istaghfara because the first three letters match completely, and then for the last three letters, the vowels match. It's just the letters are different. So once you reach this point, you can tell which part of the word is just part of the word and which part of the word is an interchangeable root letter. So just from looking at this, you can tell that the part that changed was the ghain became a the fa became a za, and the ra became a hamza. So that means that whereas the root here was ghafara, the root here is fa, za, and hamza. That's roughly how we can tell how to do that. And again, it's going to be a little bit tough, sure, at the beginning, but the more you do it, the faster and faster you'll get at it. So I hope that much was clear. Is ittakhadhu? Okay, I'm just gonna give the answer for the ittakhadhu family, but I'm for ittakhadhu, but I'm not gonna explain it. Okay? Okay, so for the word ittakhadhu, it comes from the and some of you already got this, alhamdulillah, so that's good for you guys. It comes from the iqtaraba family, and it's working out. Iqtaraba family conjugated for all of them. So hum iqtarabu. That's what ittakhadhu is. Ittakhadhu iqtarabu. Yeah, that's why the XYZ 112233. I said I'm not gonna explain it because it's a little bit complicated, but that's what it is. The root letters are ta, or sorry, not ta. It's hamza, kha, and dal. Hamza, kha, and dal. You're supposed to be lost. If you're lost, then that's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's completely normal for you to be lost right now. Fauzia, that's not 100% correct. Again, I'll write the root here. The root is not ta, kha, dal. It's hamza, kha, dal. Okay, now I'm 100% done with this example. I'm not answering any more questions on it. So let's move on to other questions, inshallah. Al-qawm is not a broken plural, Najia. When we went over plurality, number, when we were talking about number in intensive 1 and 2, we said that there are some words that are plural by meaning. They're not broken plurals. They're singular words, but they're plural by meaning. And we said 3 of them: qawm, nas, and qarn. Qawm, nas, and qarn. These are singular words, again, but grammatically we look at them like they're plurals. Guys, I said I'm not answering any more questions on ittakhadha. The only reason I even answered it was because everybody was spamming in the first place. But I'm not gonna go into any more detail because this is something that's just gonna confuse you guys the more I answer about it. I'm just gonna take it off the screen. There we go. These are the emails for those of you asking, by the way. Surah Munafiqun. Okay, let me put in Surah Munafiqun and see what we can do with that. Oh, it included the translation. Hmm. Okay. Okay, what words were you're asking about now? I have 5. Istaghfir. No, you have not learned the reason for yastaghfir to be. I can't highlight it. You haven't learned the reason for yastaghfir to be light yet. Lightest yet. The only reasons you've learned so far for lightest are the harf of lightest, lam lama wal fal and li, and then commanding and forbidding. That's all you've learned so far. Nothing else. So I'm not going to answer that one. And then ayah 10. وَأَنْفِقُوا. What was the question about it? Anfiqu is a plural command. Yes, you are right. Anfiqu is a plural command from anfaqa yunfiqu, which comes from the aslama family. So I can write this one out. Anfaqa yunfiqu comes from the aslama family. Oh,
Assalamu alaikum. Keep carry on. Don't discontinue.
sorry guys. Okay. Anfaqa yunfiqu comes from the aslama family, and when we talked about creating the fi'l amr, the command from the aslama family, we said that it's gonna come from the present tense like normal, but what's special about the aslama family is that the hamza at the beginning will stay. So if you remember, Al-amru minhu for aslama was aslim. Aslim. And just like that, the same thing would happen for anfaqa. So it'd be an. And then if we wanted to make that plural, we would follow the same rules. And then it would become anfiqu. So anfiqu is a plural command. Good eye.
We haven't really touched on the command variations other than the sarf saghir, and I've kind of left that alone for now. Today's day 4, yes?
Yep.
Okay. We'll start in a few minutes. But yeah, Jawad, I sent you some of the email questions. Did you already address them, or?
I have not.
Okay, so we'll just wait for class to address those because I thought those were interesting. Anything else right now, though? Maybe I can take some too.
There were a lot of questions about ittakhadu. I gave them that it's from iqtaraba and it's home, and then I told them no more.
Okay. Yeah, we can walk through that process when everybody joins us in class for the 9:30.
Okay, and I think that's everything. That's the only other thing that was pressing. Oh, some were asking why we switched from sama'atan to sama'an, and also
When the recording?
Yeah.
No, I just want you. Well, I actually was hoping some of you would ask that question. So for the small families, you're gonna get multiple masters. So, and I want you to get used to the fact that the small families give you sometimes just one, sometimes two, sometimes 5, 6 masters. And like you have khasira yakhsaru khusran, like innal insana lafi khusr, and you have khasaratan or khasaran even, and then wala tazid al-zalimina illa khasara in Surah Nuh, and then you have khusran, like dhalika huwa al-khusran al-mubin. So khasira, like it's like the Sami'a family, but it has 3 masters in the Quran and probably more in the dictionary. The same way with qala yaqulu, which is a complicated verb, but anyway, the common master is qawlan, but there's also qilan and maqalan and maqulatan. There's a bunch. So, or ghafara yaghfiru, which is like daraba yadribu, forgiveness, to forgive. Ghafara yaghfiru is maghfiratan and ghufranan, and probably some other ones in the dictionary that I'm not familiar with. So I'm familiar with the ones that occur in the Quran, but I don't look for other ones. But I'm sure the dictionary probably has even more masters that are not employed in the Quran. So yeah, sam'an is the easier mastar to remember, so I decided to remove it from. One of the things that I really wanted to make sure is you don't start thinking, because daraba yadribu is darban and fataha yaftahu is fathan, right? And nasara yansuru, one of its masters is also nasran. Like idha ja'a nasrullahi wal fath, that's the mastar that was used there. That you start thinking they all rhyme. They don't rhyme, even though these 3 happen to rhyme. That's not a rule. They're random. And so I kind of went out of my way to pick a non-rhyming one, so you get kind of shaken up by, wait, that this one changed, because I don't want you to think the mastars are standardized like they are in the bigger families. So in Islaman, Ikhbaran, Idrakan, I'laman, Ishrakan, they're all standardized. Ta'alluman, Takabburan, Takathuran, Tanaffuran, they're all standardized. But in the smaller families, they're not standardized. And so when I decided to make the audio file, have you made the audio file available?
It's not on the site yet. No, I have to wait for.
Well, I've made the recording. You guys will get the recording of the 6 small families and their sarf, their basic sarf. So that'll help you with your memorization, right? So if you listen to that over and over again, even if you're not repeating it in the beginning, if you just kind of put it on a loop, then it'll help with you saying it out loud. Often for a lot of you, reading something and being able to say it are 2 worlds apart. And I want to bridge that gap a little bit, because a lot of you are used to silent reading. The problem with nahu, you can get away with silent reading. With sarf, unless you're reading out loud and phonetically making mistakes and then correcting them, you can't really get sarf down. You can't read it silently and analyze it and say, I got it. No, you have to hear yourself, and you have to stumble through it until it becomes smooth. So that's why the audio file is going to be helpful. But in the audio file, I did use sami'a yasma'u sam'an as opposed to sama'atan. Both of those are options, in fact. You guys printed it?
Yeah.
Well, did you find it helpful?
Yeah.
You didn't really look at it, did you?
No, I did.
You did? Did you too?
Maybe.
You didn't. No, you didn't. That smile tells me everything. But at least it's not a yawny smile today. That's good.
I've been up for 3 hours.
Holy
I woke
Allah.
up for Fajr and then I didn't go back to sleep because he had Quran class till like 7:20ish.
Yeah.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. What I want you to do in the morning is also some exercise.
Yeah.
We'll probably start doing that together.
I did some, like just
You did nothing,
stretches.
Farah.
I did some push-ups in my room.
Oh yeah.
You don't see me in my room.
Okay. Stop. Anyway,
Ustad, also,
Mm.
a lot of students were asking if, because we went over Fatiha, whether each word was ism fi'l or harf, but you also told them ikhlas, and we never went over that.
I suppose we can do that in class. So let's end this broadcast and restart, and we can. You can actually restart the broadcast and put me on as a guest, while I'll pick that up. And actually, you can create the stream online too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and do that. Do
You
both.
want me to create the room and everything?
Yeah. End this broadcast, and I'll come back on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody.
Walaikum assalam.
See you in a second.